Hey guys, it's Dan here from SAP UK, and I'm just doing a video podcast today. And I've not actually done one for a while. Just cut a long story short, I've just been busy internally to be able to do any external support. And I think if you kind of understand podcasts or recording videos or doing anything on this means, you will also understand that they're quite difficult. Like it's hard to kind of like get up and go, oh, do you know what? I'm just going to do a video for the whole world to see. It's really it's a lot of pressure because you kind of have to make sure that your face is okay, that your talk is okay. You have to make sure that your setup is okay. Like it really isn't just like a straightforward kind of movement. And especially if you don't have a topic either. So I kind of come in a little bit blind today because I haven't got a topic, but I wanted to just do a check-in, just do a quick hour video, just see how we get on, and just waste an hour of yours basically because when like dealing with suicidal thoughts or suicidal actions, and you know when you kind of like go to support and they go, oh, go and have a bath, go for a walk, like they're not there like taking the piss, they are there trying to utilize your time throughout the day. So let's just say you've got a full so how long are we awake for? We're awake for like between 12 and 18 hours per day each person, let's say something like that. Now, if you've got a suicidal mind, you're going to end up spending that full 12 to 18 hours per day suicidal. Now, if you kind of like break it up and have like a bath in between, go for a walk, do this and that, you're then utilizing hours here and there, and it kind of distracts you from this feeling of suicidal or suicidal thoughts and actions. And that's what it's all about, really. So when you're kind of like speaking to a therapist or a counselor or something like that, and they're going, "Oh, go for a bath, go for a walk. Why don't you try phoning someone? Why don't you try this and that?" They are literally just trying to help you utilize your time. And that's basically what I'm doing today. So I'm going to burn out an hour. Hopefully, we can get an hour like out, but it depends how much talk I've got. Now, I wanted to kind of like introduce you to my main part because obviously, like, I am outreach and I do a lot of like suicide prevention support, but a lot of my work is writing. So I love writing. I think each day I could probably push out 1,000 words minimum if needed to. And from like doing a lot of writing, I've kind of built like a habit now to be able to push out 1,000 words when and if needed. So the way that I kind of utilize my writing skill is that I kind of just go like, oh, do you know what? I've come across somebody today who may be like, for example, my blog last week was living with psychosis. Now that's because I met an individual who was struggling to kind of regulate or fluctuate psychosis. Now psychosis is a tough one because it affects your cognitive like reasoning and stuff because I can't think of the word. I want to use a really big word right now and I know the word that I want to use, but because it's like Monday morning and I'm a little bit tired, I can't think of the word. But you know when like you have when you have like oh my goodness me, I've completely just died in my brain. When you have like visual experiences that aren't real, so illusions and delusions and stuff like that, it's like a cognitive impairment. And when you kind of like experience this, it alters a person's like individuality and their kind of like day because you are you kind of like believe everything that comes out of your eyes and your brain, like that is literally like gold dust. It's like it's your brain, it's your motive, it's your kind of reasoning. So if you kind of like hear something in your head or you see something from your eyes, your brain is automatically going to register that as true. So when like someone's kind of like within like a delusional state, or there's another word for delusions. What is it? I'm not googling it right now. It'll pop up to me. I know it's illusions, but there's another one. There's another word that's like delusions, but I can't think of it right now. So yeah, so when you're kind of like in this like delusional state, and for example, say like I was kind of like sat here talking, and next minute a man pops up at my window or a woman pops up at my window, and they're not actually there. It's just my illusions. I would believe that that's true because I've seen it with my own eyes. Now, this is what psychosis is and what it kind of leans on. It kind of leans on your own trust with yourself. So with psychosis, it's really difficult to kind of like manage and maintain because you see things and you hear things that nobody else does. So kind of like if you hear somebody shouting your name, and nobody has shouted your name, and you're kind of like, what was that? And then other people are like, what do you mean? And then you're like, oh, I heard something, and they're like, actually, no, you didn't, because we didn't hear it either. Well, we didn't hear it, so then it makes you then go, oh, okay, and you start questioning yourself. Now, when you hear like voices and things in your head. I should have really popped up. So what I'll do is when I first started bringing the topic of living with psychosis, I will kind of put the picture in the bottom corner, like here. I'm the most unprofessional podcaster ever. Oh, I can't even do a square, but I don't care because it stresses me out when you have to kind of like maintain something just for other people. Like I've made it extremely clear when like communicating via SAP UK that I am the most unprofessional person to kind of orchestrate a company like this, but it doesn't matter because it's not that I'm like unprofessional where I'm like I'm not rude or anything like that, jeez. I'm just unprofessional. Like I will take my time. I've just got a bit of a hippie mentality. Like if you want to get hold of me, you're probably going to end up doing a round of applause when you finally get hold of me because I'm quite difficult to pin down. And that's not my fault. It is a little bit, but because of my like neurodivergencies, I am one of them people that I'm here, there, everywhere. And if I'm kind of like communicating with somebody on like WhatsApp and then my other WhatsApp goes up, then my other WhatsApp kind of goes to the top of the list and then my other one kind of falls behind and I don't even want to get started on emails. I've literally just got an admin team now, beautifully, so they can literally make sure that I am being fluent in a lot of my communication. So that will then bump me up to be a bit more professional because I've got a team to help. Now, we've gone off topic again, but yeah, so this is my unprofessional part. Like, I do make a lot of sense and I am really fluent in my knowledge because I'm a suicidologist, but there's parts where, because of my neurodivergencies, I kind of like bounce from one area to another and it can be quite quick. So people are like, oh, question mark, question mark, question mark, like around. I'm gonna edit this video though, so it's a little bit fun because that's me. Like I'm not like a straightforward kind of boring person. Like I will call people out, and I love that part about me. Like when I go to meetings and stuff like that, if I don't agree with something, that I don't hesitate to kind of like speak up and allow people to understand that I'm either confused or I don't understand something, etc. So this is my blog, so I'm going to kind of like put like a bit of a screen on maybe fill this box here with the first page of my blog, so I'll screen record it and put it on. The background's really funky, so I kind of did that background, and I wanted to just like, I didn't want it to be fluent, I didn't want it to be like, um, perfect. I wanted it to just be a bit all over the place because that is me. And I think that's a lot of people too. Like it's not normal for someone to be a little bit like different. And I think that's beautiful, like so beautiful to be different. And I love meeting people that are different and quirky and stuff like that because it just shows that you kind of aren't fluent to society and you haven't like learned off one kind of checkbox kind of thing. So yeah, I want to kind of go through my website, help people understand my website because there's a lot of people from other countries who don't maybe understand fluent English who are kind of like looking on it. And at the moment, I'm flying around China as well, so my blog's kind of like took off in China, and it's like I'm getting a daily reach of like over 100 people in China. So hi China. I hope you're all okay. And I hope you're kind of like finding the information that you kind of want to understand. Because obviously I have my art on there where you can kind of like buy my artwork. I haven't put anything new on there though, and I haven't I haven't like done much on there because I haven't got the capacity to paint all the time. And I think that's really, really difficult. Like, I do a lot of personal work, so if someone kind of asks me, "Oh, my son's birthday, can you do this picture?" My daughter's birthday, I will kind of get this done. Now that's my artwork on that page. And then you kind of like click on the main bit button again, and it will then take you to an events page. Now, this is a beautiful page, my most favourite page. I just have not updated it. So on my like events page, I'm gonna bring this over here. So um my events page here. On my events page, it kind of shows what's going on through Lancashire. because that's my kind of like base. And I've also got like a women only holiday for £1,000 per person from Manchester to Valencia. And here we're going to be, it's obviously going to be all females, and we are going to be doing yoga and loads of other beautiful stuff. Now, if you scroll down to like the middle of the page, we have like a yearly planner. This has like my full year on that. I don't know how I managed to do it, but fluently. I managed to get like a full calendar for the full year. I'm changing a few dates here and there and stuff, but that's what it is. And then you could kind of like have the SAP UK brochure for 2026. I literally had a hiccup. And then there's what's on in Lancashire page with pictures and information on how to contact me or the office if you want to collaborate. Because although we are doing like our own events, we are also supporting other people's events. And then I think I'm going to read you a poem as well today because I think stuff like that's really important. The fundraiser, what's on my fundraising page? What? It's got all my blogs on there and it shouldn't do. Strange. Life blogs. So in like life blogs, these are blogs that are about me, all about me, dear diary. No, it's not like that at all. Like so, these are all um influence from my personal experiences. So obviously, Single Parent Day is like number one blog at the top because I just kind of released this one this last week. Um, and this is just about like life as a single parent, like what it kind of like meant to me, what it means to me, like how important it is for single parents to get that kind of like support because it's really difficult being a single parent. Being a single parent, I learned because like as a parent you have to give out energy, and I always say that we're energy banks. So if you're kind of like going out for the day, you have 100% energy bank. When you start giving it outwards, your energy bank's going to lower and lower and lower until you've got nothing left. Now if you're constantly giving out to children and you don't have someone giving back to you, which is more single parents, it kind of like makes your affluence a bit lower. It kind of makes you depressive traits a little bit heightened without kind of assuming that you've got depressive traits. I just mean like you can't constantly give out if you aren't being poured into. Now, the way that single parents work this is because in like a two-parent household, the male or the female pours into the other one pours into the kids, vice versa, and it works in like a little bit of like a circle. If you are a single parent, you then have to pour into yourself. So you have to do self care. You have to kind of like make sure you're doing things that are good for you. You kind of have to like put yourself first, create your own boundaries. And it's hard, it's much harder because if you don't have the energy to do that, you're not going to be able to maintain it long term. But it's doable. It's doable. I'm a long term, a long term single mom, and I'm actually going to be a single mom for a very long time. But anyway, so let's move on to my other blogs because we don't want to talk too much about me. But if anyone wants any more information on how to kind of be like a single parent or wants any support, hit me up. I'm really good at it. So then the next blog that we have in my life blogs is I never pretended to be anything. So this kind of like was a personal understanding because I kind of like I spoke to somebody that I knew from a while ago, and you know when you just kind of just get a vibe that although you and that person like absolutely care a lot about each other, there's somebody in the background going, "Don't speak to them. You can't speak to them." Like, and then they're putting like a negative kind of like outlook on you or you and that person's relationship. So that kind of made me want to talk about I never pretended to be anything because I think it's really difficult throughout my kind of like life and stuff when I've been traumatized like that. I've never like pretended to be anybody other than who I am at that moment. Now, if I've been traumatized, I'm obviously just going to be traumatized. If I've been depressed, I'm obviously going to be depressed. Like I never kind of do things to hurt other people. Like I wouldn't go out my way to hurt somebody. But I think a lot of people kind of take a judgment and they kind of like a take a judgment. I think that's the right word already. They kind of like lean towards the fact that you are doing something for something else. So it's like you've got an ulterior motive for like speaking to somebody. Maybe like you speak to somebody because you want it to feed back somewhere, or you want somebody else to kind of. Do you know what I mean? Like just that bit twisted scenario, but that's generally never, never, ever the case. So like if I've kind of speaking to somebody or I've like checked in or whatever, it's only ever been in to check in and just see how they are, because I think sometimes when you don't speak to people for so long, like after like 5 or 6 years or something, and you kind of check in, like it's not evil to say hello or check in or anything like that. But so that's why I wanted to kind of be. I never pretended to be anything because I didn't want. Um, well, I knew at the time that I would have been judged for a lot of things for my kind of poor mental health. But I think when an individual has PTSD, they kind of like reflect in certain manners. So that's the write up about that anyway. So if you kind of go on life blogs, that's the second one. It does have a lot of like, so I don't just talk about myself in it either. I kind of like talk about like different experiences and stuff. And then my next life blog is long-term health conditions and emotional regulation, because I have half a pancreas, so I know exactly what it's like to have a long-term health condition. And I also studied it at uni and I got a B on it, so it's a hot topic for me. I wanted to kind of take it forward and study it in my uh, degree, because I suffer as myself in long term health conditions. And this kind of like dips into like the mental and physical side of a long term health condition, because although, like, for example, I look fine on the outside, mentally and internally, I'm actually like in bits in so many parts. So I wanted to kind of like talk about that and like emotional regulation and stuff, because I think on sicker days when people aren't well, they kind of need to understand that it's okay to not be okay. Like even if um even if you're not getting out of bed for a few days, like this is okay because you are struggling physically as well as mentally. And long term health conditions don't just affect us mentally either. This is physical. So I wanted to kind of like express my understanding and my knowledge on this part and just give a little bit of connection in case you are struggling with a long term health condition yourself. The next one is a blog called I Am Not Good Enough. Now, this is from personal experiences too. So I think being a volunteer, it's actually I am not good enough, but you are underneath kind of thing. So it's like I am not good enough in brackets, and then I kind of like say, but you are. Um, this is like brought on upon being a volunteer, because being a volunteer, if you don't get paid, you kind of like you look forward to a pat on the back, like, yay, well done. Not like that, but I mean, like, you kind of look like when you do volunteering, you kind of not expect actually, because you don't expect anything, because I think when you're volunteering, you just give out. But you kind of do appreciate when people are like, oh, um, you've done really well today. Thank you. And stuff like that, just like, oh, you didn't have to be here, but you did, so thank you. And I think because I haven't received that all last year, and I was just kind of popping in everywhere last year, I did so much volunteering to the point where it knocked me out for 2 months. I had to recover for 2 months because it was just so much giving out. And I think with my like neurodivergencies and stuff, and because I can be one of the people that runs ahead, and I love that for me, I can get burnt out. And last year, because I did so much and not much came back, like we didn't even raise much funds or anything. Like people were walking past our stand and going, "I don't donate to places like this," and just walking past, and it just made me feel just a bit like shit. So I thought I'm just gonna write about it, and then I kind of like talk about like how it feels to not feel good enough, but then I express, but you are good enough, and it's nobody's kind of duty, including yourself, to tell you that you're not. Um, it's like if anyone's kind of made you feel that way, then get rid of them. The next one is a You Are the World blog. Now, I wanted to just express how we are each energy. Like, I'm so spiritual and hippie that I wanted to kind of express you are the world. Like, don't let anybody tell you anything different. You are the world. And the reason why I kind of did this was because we breathe the plants. Our lungs have the same kind of imagery as branches on trees. Our fingerprints are in the middle of trees. Like they found traces of our body nutrients, like such as like, the kind of like nutrients that are in our belly button. They found that in the Sahara Desert. And there's just like so many things, like the eye, for example, the eyeball, the colours that come in on that, and how they're kind of like replicated across the world and stuff, like in different oceans and stuff. And I just wanted to kind of express like the energy that you give out, it always comes back to you. So if you're good, you'll get good. If you are bad, you'll get your bad energy. And I do, like, if you are bad and you've kind of put like bad karma out there, I do 100% agree that you should get that back in some form of way. It's just the way that the world works. It's just karma, isn't it? And I don't think people should be bad. I think people should be good. So I'm kind of saying you deserve it in the nicest way possible. But if you do need support, like no judgment or discrimination, like shit's happened, life goes on, doesn't it? Like people do things that they regret, and people do things that they don't regret. It's not your job to kind of lean on that as if it's yours. You kind of like live off the energy that you give out. Um, and then the next one in life is I think I've actually got so many blogs. I think I've got like 50. So if I was to kind of talk through all of them today, I'm going to be here forever. So I might just fly through like the first couple of pages. Um, the January blog, that is just life. So I think I was just got started getting in a relationship then as well. So maybe I mentioned that. I think I was just chatting about life. Oh yeah, I am very aware I need to do a podcast, completing only four last year. I think I only did like four podcasts last year, but I'm pretty sure I might have done one or two more. I can't have done that much, that low. The next one is resilience. I love resilience because I'm so strong on it. Like to be a volunteer for 10 years and to kind of like push through and do what I'm doing and still reach out and stuff. It takes a lot of resilience. Like I am the beacon of resilience for SAP UK. If do you know what? Like, there's that much shit that's happened to me over the course of my life that I am so proud of my resilience and how strong I am and how strong I've been over the years. It's just literally about that. Just talking about resilience, I go from maybe talking about like personal shit to talking about like psychological. What I also do in my blogs is because of my like psychology degree, I always do lean and dip into the psychological sides of things because obviously, and the sociological sides as well, and the physiological sides because all of these are so important to healthier mental health. Just making sure that your physiology is okay, your sociology is okay, and your psychology is okay. So understanding is key. The next one down my blog from August 2025, so almost a year ago, my most favourite blog ever, and it's sadness. Now, sadness has been a huge part of my life. I can't even comprehend how sad I've felt over the years and how sadness has kind of dictated me or how sadness has kind of taken over. But I wrote about it. I literally put it on a blog because how beautiful is sadness really? Like, yeah, you might know someone who's sad all the time, but really, that is one of the most deepest emotions that someone can get through. And for someone to kind of like get to sadness and just all they have left is sadness after trauma, it's beautiful. It is one of the most beautiful emotions ever. And not everyone gets to experience it either. And I always go on about this. Not everybody gets to experience sadness to the depths that some people have, and I think that is stunning. I think that's absolutely stunning. Like, obviously, we don't want people to be like wrapped up in sadness for until the end of time, but living with sadness and accepting it for what it is will really, really help you to move forward. If you kind of like have sadness and you go, I don't want to have this feeling, I don't want to have it. You're starting a battle in your head, and I say this so much. You are starting a subconscious battle in your head. if you disagree with sadness, when it's a conscious feeling that you kind of need to regulate, it's just going to build and build and build, and it's going to get more difficult to the point where it could become anger or frustration or agitation. So if you are feeling like sad and you need to kind of like regulate it, just ensure that you are feeling it. Just sit with it. I've also got a blog called Sit With It as well, which is talks about how I kind of got through my trauma. Um, I didn't introduce my kind of like trauma, but I'm hoping that you kind of like understand that I've been through a lot. I've seen death several times, and yeah, life's just been really shit. But we got through it. So my next blog is Suicidal Thoughts Come Natural to Me. Now, this is because I've had childhood experiences with suicide, both externally and internally. So for me to kind of have suicidal thoughts, I can have them at any given moment. So I could just be sat there, just minding my own business, and next thing I'm thinking about suicide or suicidal ideation. Now, that is because it's an inbuilt habit from childhood. I learnt that path at a young age. So if I'm ever feeling out of control or I'm ever feeling under affluence, I will always go to suicidal thoughts. It's just natural, and how my brain kind of works, but I don't take them as they are. I took them as they are maybe a year or two ago, and it almost cost me my life. So I've learned again that if I am kind of like suicidal, that it's just part of who I am at this moment, and to not believe what they're saying to me. My next blog from almost 2 years ago is That Is You. So this is feeling out of place. So do you know when you kind of like go somewhere or you kind of like feel something and you kind of like want to replace yourself. So it's like you go to like a group of people and they're all acting a certain way. You might act the same way just to kind of fit in with like the peers. Now, on the first line, it says like, has anyone ever felt like an alien? Have you ever felt like you don't belong somewhere, like you kind of go somewhere but you don't belong? So it makes you feel like maybe a little bit awkward, or you kind of like just take yourself out of the situation, or you maybe might not go back to the situation because it doesn't feel natural to you. Now, this is perfectly normal because everybody's so different. Like, everyone's so unique in their own traits, and everyone is so like got their own like differential kind of inbuilt being, haven't we? Now, you aren't going to get on with everybody. You aren't going to get on with everybody. You are also going to see so many different versions of yourself. Like when you're sad, embrace the sadness. That is you for the moment. If you are angry, let's try and settle yourself by understanding where your triggers have come from, because that is you for the moment. And what I kind of like wanted to express with this, and it does kind of lean on with the last podcast too, about like not hiding yourself and just being who you are and accepting your kind of feelings for what they are. By doing that and accepting who you are in each version, you're not starting a subconscious battle. You are not like kind of going, who is this person in my body? And you won't feel, you might not disassociate either because you're fully connected with each version of yourself. And each kind of like each year we learn and we understand so much, like to the point where we can change. We change all the time. And they say every 10 years we kind of change our morals and who we want to be for the next 10. So if you kind of notice at like age 30 or 40 your morals change completely, that's because of psychology. They say that we kind of change every 10 years just from like understanding and stuff like that. Um, the next blog is Healing Home. I haven't read this one since 2024, definitely not. So it could have some errors in it. You can also, if you want to kind of like look for a blog, you can kind of type it in the search bar. So you kind of put like, I want to read about disassociation. You'll type it in the search bar, and the blogs that mention it will come up. Now, healing home is so important because you can't be the best version of yourself if you aren't healed or if you're within healing grounds and you're not getting better. So to be able to heal, you have to understand. You have to understand where you come from, how you've got here, kind of like what you want from this life. And it takes a hell of a lot of sitting with yourself and understanding to be able to heal yourself. And apologies if you've been through a lot of fucking shit where you have to sit there and heal yourself. I'm sending a lot of love to you right now if you do have to do that, but it's doable. Focus on your physiology, get water, make sure you're eating healthy, make sure you're going out and enjoying nature. Like, just do everything and anything that pleases you. Do not go out there when you need healing other people because you just aren't going to be able to comprehend it. It's going to be a lot for you to be able to get through. Now, now, the next one on like my personal blogs is feminine and masculine energy. Now, this is so important. I wrote about this in when did I write about this? Oh, it doesn't even. Oh, it does have a date. April the 9th. Oh, so almost 2 years ago. Now, it's so important for males and females to understand how their role fits in with each other. Now, because of like this, and because of there being a mismatch in energy, I've always found it really, really difficult to kind of like get on with a lot of males because although I'm super female and I'm super feminine, I've got a lot of masculine energy too. So because I've got masculine energy, it's meant that the males have not been able to kind of meet the masculine energy that I kind of need in return. So this kind of like goes through the different kind of like understandings of males and females. Like at the moment, the roles for the female is, well, the past roles for females were cooking and cleaning, raising children. Men's were getting out, fixing stuff, like doing work, bringing money, putting food on the table. And that's just kind of how it worked. Now, we've had a complete flip around because men are becoming more feminine and females are becoming more masculine. Females are meeting their own needs. Females are putting their own food on the table. Females are going to work. Men are raising kids. Men are cooking. Men are cleaning. And it's kind of like the moment we're all kind of merging into this feminine and masculine energy. But in relationships, there has to be a good balance. If there's not a good balance with the masculine and feminine energy, it's going to be chaos. Like you can't have two people in a relationship who are both feminine. You can't have two people in a relationship that are both masculine. It has to work. It has to work out. So I was reading a message. Someone just rejected me. No, I just asked one of the volunteers to do if they're free on the Semicolon project to come to the studio, but they're going to a family festival and they haven't invited me to because I'm pretty sure that I've adopted him as my dad, but whatever. I'll bring that up. Thanks for the invite. No, yeah, I've got a new dad on the team. Anyway, so my next blog's from 2023 is depression does not define you, and it's about depression. Like I've lived with long-term depression for years and years and years to the point now where I've still got it, but it's not as enhanced as what it used to. Like now I'm a bit more numb to it, whereas before I spent a lot of my time like crying and stuff like that. But I was just kind of releasing my trauma, because it's not easy going through trauma and then kind of like having my life set up. Now, the next blog literally comes straight on to who I am as a person, and the next blog's called Wounded Healer. I don't know whether you've ever kind of heard of this term, but it's one of the most beautiful terms ever. When I was in uni and I was kind of like going through my troubles and stuff like that, I had a mental health worker and she kind of like sat me down and stuff, and she was so beautiful. She was so beautiful. Like, I've never met someone that was just so fucking kind. Like, wow. Oh, I'm getting a little bit like emotional thinking about it now. But do you know what? When you kind of like meet somebody and they change the course of everything for you. She was one of them people, and I'm so grateful to kind of bumping into her and Mark as well at Worcester Uni. Really, really grateful. Now, the next one's called Wounded Healer, and this is what my kind of uni person said to me. She went, "What you sound like? You sound like you're a bit of a wounded healer." And I was like, what's that? She's like, somebody who's like hurt and someone who's kind of been distraught, but instead of like spending the time within these grounds, they help other people so that other people don't feel the same way that they feel. And it just kind of, when she said it to me, I just burst out crying. I was like, shit. That like kind of unintentionally happened. Like I didn't mean to kind of be that way, but I think because I was so traumatized and going through a lot at the time that the only way that I could fluctuate it or kind of get out my situation was to help other people whilst I was still being traumatized, whilst I was still having people taking the piss and like cheating and lying and all the rest of it, like abusing me and like kind of not abusing me, but mentally abusing my relationships with people and stuff like that, like just fucking in and out, taking the fucking piss, like people in my past, like if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be who I was today. Like I truly appreciate that, but what the fuck? Who the fuck raises people like that? Like you never in a million years like traumatize someone when you don't know what you want yourself. Like if you don't want to have a friendship or a relationship with someone, you call it off. You don't then fucking take the piss or use them or whatever. I have my own place and stuff, so a lot of people are just using me for that. And then the next one is sit with her. Like I said previously, um, what to do when you're sitting with it. So instead of like kind of running your day and or getting stuck in with work and stuff like that, sitting with your actual feelings, and getting your kind of feelings outwards and process in a healthy kind of way. I think that's really, really important to just be able to sit with yourself. Not a lot of people can sit with themselves. I think the way that life's kind of pulled a lot of people is that a lot of people have good parental support, whereas I never had that. So I kind of learnt from a young age to be on my own, to kind of sit on my own. And that's just the way that life went for me. So fortunately, unfortunately, I learnt how to be on my own. And I could sit on my own for weeks. It's a bit scary, really, but I really, really could. Winter 22, so it just says updating soon. Fuck knows why I've not updated. That's a very long time ago. I'm definitely not updating. My next one is where Danny's Ace come from. So this kind of like just shows where Danny's Ace came from, like the name of it. And it was actually me and my friend when we were drunk. I think we were like 17 or something. She still has it on Facebook. So we both like you and you like you've got your friend's Facebook and you've got like, oh, I'm gonna change the name of this Facebook name. So I called her Sarah Danny's Ace Johnston and she changed it mine to Danielle Sazzy's Ace Shaw. But I changed mine because I put famous and I was doing my hair extension business, so I changed mine a few months later. I'm pretty sure she still got hers though. And then my very, very first ever blog was Seeing Suicide, and that's the story about why I'm fucking here. Why I'm here preventing suicides, and it's literally just a full background on what happened with Brian. Now, I've got like my stat blogs on the next page. Now these kind of like are individuality, PTSD, and shock, which shouldn't be in there actually. PTSD, shock should be in psychological blogs. How to get through a suicidal crisis, um, the 5 stages of grief, which is so important. I don't really want to fly for it. I've got so many blogs, honestly. Like, I did an Are You Telling the Truth blog as well because of an article, because a lot of times with mental health conditions, it can actually alter how an individual needs attention. Now, a lot of people might fabricate the truth to get attention, whereas I think when you're suicidal and working with the correct group, you don't need to fabricate anything because we understand that I get that it's up and down, it's chaotic having suicidal thoughts. Um, you're not going to be a higher affluence of what you should be, if you get what I'm saying. And then I've got a SAP UK blurb on there, which is just a bit about SAP UK, I think, 2024. And then my most recent one for my SAP UK is a suicidology 24 to 25. I also have a blog on my SAP UK ones that kind of like talk about suicidology and what I have learnt so far. So if you do want to, and there's a volunteering for SAP UK over the years as well, if you do want to like kind of do some voluntary work, get some experience, you'll get the best experience with us. You literally will. Like we've got so many different like avenues and stuff like that on learning, and so many different opportunities as well within the company to kind of like get experience. Now let's go on to the psychological blogs because these are my more in-depth psychological ones. So I do dip into a lot of psychology with these. I love psychology. That's why I love the way that the brain works. I love how like individuals are so different, how we've all got different motives and how we've all got different like kind of morals and stuff. And we need all these different kind of people as well to show us who to be and who not to be. Now, the very first one in here is Judgy Julie. Absolutely no offence to Julie's like at all, because the Julies that I've met over the year have been absolutely beautiful. It's just an alliteration. I could have said Judgy John, but it just doesn't sound right. I think Judgy Julie sounds perfect. Sounds perfect. And this is basically about people judging other people for the same kind of work. I was triggered with this again. Like I'm always judged myself over the years because if you kind of like, as you have explained earlier on, that I am not professional in the slightest, but I am in a professional field, so I get a lot of judgment. But I'm past curving now, so I'm to the point now where I'm just like, I don't care if you're judging me because that's you and that's not me. And it doesn't matter what I'm wearing, it doesn't matter what I look like, it's what's inside my brain. And to be honest, my brain's really fluent and my brain knows a lot of information, mainly from life experience, but I've topped it up with educational and work experience too. Um, so I thought that one went off. So yeah, so that this is my psychological side, and there's a lot of research and understanding on this because I've got a research degree, so I will always kind of like I don't just talk about things from experience. I'll dip right into it. I spend hours on each one of these blogs. The next one is living with psychosis. It is extremely important if you are extremely important if you're experiencing hearing voices or you seeing things to understand psychosis because if you understand it you can literally find the source to it. You can understand whether it's from your memory. You can understand whether it's from the delusional side or it's from the illusional side. Like so with like psychosis and stuff, it can be memory. So if you have like a bad childhood and you kind of like block out a lot of it, if you kind of no, sorry, if you block out of it and then you start experiencing psychosis, your mind can bring up memories from age of 3. So say like you hear, and also with voices as well, what can happen with voices is say like when you're 3 years old and you've got maybe 3 men around you and a woman or something, and you can hear them all talking like a lot for constantly. Your memory saves that. We actually only access like 10% of our brain, and the rest of it is all hidden. It's all in like deeper kind of neural connections and stuff. But your brain always stores memories. So from the age of 3, if you kind of like hear a man shouting, a woman shouting, and a lot of trauma and stuff, you can save those voices. And then when you're older and experience psychosis, those voices can come back. And because you're so young and you don't understand it, you'll not know where they've come from because you don't remember. But your brain has remembered, so it's brought them back forward. Very, very confusing is the brain. It's extremely, extremely confusing. But understanding it and understanding how you work is crucial to personal growth. I also did another blog about judgment. So I've done 2 blogs about judgment, and that's because I keep experiencing it when I kind of like get judged myself for the way I look, which I don't care about. I will walk into meetings with like crop tops on, not crop tops that like thingy, but a t-shirt crop top, a bit like this one actually. You can't really see. A little bit like that, so it shows a little bit of my stomach because do you know what? I've spent 30 years with a body that I never liked. I got into my 30s and then I got an absolute banging body. Obviously, I'm gonna be getting it out. No, it's because it's warm as well, and my t-shirts kind of say like suicide prevention on and stuff, and it's just my style. I'm not changing the way I am for anybody else, especially when these people don't pay my bills. So The next kind of blog that I go through is the different types of psychological processes during a suicidal experience. Now, this is so important because everybody experiences suicidal thoughts differently. Um, everybody experiences them differently. You might feel them physically, you might feel them mentally, you might feel them just for an hour, you might feel them for a long term, you might feel them for days and weeks on end. Like it literally is so what's the word? Variant. Is that the word I can choose? So variant. Mm, it varies, it differentiates for every person. Um, Another one of my blogs, which is a good one, an article I write up, is acceptance and positive change. Now, you cannot get on with bad mental health or with someone else's bad mental health if you don't accept. You can't get on with your own situation if you don't accept. You can't pass suicidal thoughts if you don't accept. Whatever you are feeling, whatever version of yourself that you are today, you have to accept. If you don't accept, you're starting that subconscious battle again. And we all know what subconscious battles do. It starts a war inside your head, and then you can't actually fluently get through it. This is how PTSD and stuff starts because you can't accept and fluent properly. You can't regulate properly. So that's just about accepting what you're going through at the moment. So, for example, if you kind of like was a millionaire 4 weeks ago, but then you lost all your money, you have to accept the new version of what's happened. You have to accept this new lifestyle. You have to accept it. If you don't accept it, you're just going to be in a battle for the past. And that's how depression starts as well. So the next one I kind of like spoke about is PTSD and depression. I'm just nipping out, it's called. Now, when I'm kind of like talking about blogs and stuff, they do sometimes have ulterior names because depression and PTSD, it does just nip in and out. It has stressed me out with that over the years for so much. So I'm pretty much healed. I'm healed from PTSD. I do still have chronic depression traits. Like I am still in that kind of ground, but they don't harm me anymore. Like, I don't express that I'm depressed. I'm just kind of get on with it. I'm a bit numb, if you will. So my depression's become numbness where I don't really feel anything. But with like depression and PTSD, it comes in like roller coasters. So one minute you're like you're fucking fine. Next minute you're down in the dumps. Next minute you're having a good day. Then you're having a bad day, and then you start remembering the past, and you're having a bad day again. And you've got something good that's happened, so you're having a good day. And it literally is like it's got a suitcase in and out, and it's going metal. I'm just nipping out for a few hours. I'll be back in maybe later on tonight. And that's literally how it works. It's in and out all the time. And I think just understanding that and understanding how it works for you because we're all so different, it'll really help you get through it. Oh, we've got 3 pages on here. I think I will finish it with a poem as well. Because I do love a good poem. Unless I did a separate yeah, no, I'll do a separate one with poems. I'll just read all my poems out on a kind of podcast. So then we've got another PTSD one. God, you can tell I have PTSD. I've wrote about it loads. This one's called Who Are You? Because I think with PTSD, it changes who we are. Like, oh my goodness me. I remember I was dating someone when I was experiencing PTSD, which is something I never should have done. And they kind of, oh no, sorry, no. What it was with the PTSD, I did date someone, but I didn't date someone for long. But my relationship caused me PTSD. My long term relationship caused me PTSD to the point where I became a different version of myself in this relationship. It wasn't my fault. Basically, found Brian after he took his own life, got cheated on, lost my business, and then lost my home. Now, because of, I think I'll talk about it. I had to go for it. Now, because of having to kind of process 3 different trauma events, I couldn't do it. I couldn't process. I didn't know which one to process. And in the 5 stages of grief kind of article that I talk about, it talks about different stages that you have to go through to process healthily. If you kind of have, and this is in my It Comes in 3 blog as well, if you kind of have like numerous traumas at once, you can't focus on the five processes. So we have like the first process, which is, oh my God, I fucking forgot them now. Which is like, what's the first process? Fuck's sake. I haven't actually been on it that long and I've had that much information over the months that I can't say them in order because I'm not going to remember. And we've got anger, sadness, acceptance, disbelief, bargaining, something like that. Now, for each, if you kind of go through trauma, each trauma needs to go through these five processing in order for you to accept it. The last kind of process is acceptance. Now, if you'd have to go through five processes, but you have three different traumas, that's 15 processes that you have to go through. You're not, if you don't have the right support, you're not going to be able to do it. And if, like me, you had people who were kind of like taking the piss out of you, um, like using you, picking you up and dropping you, not supporting you, making you worse, like cheating on you, making lies up about you, you were not going to get better within good time. So I wrote about it because I became a different version of myself, and I didn't like who I was, but there was nothing else I could have done. I survived. That's the main thing. So that's just basically talking about like being a different version of yourself when you kind of are going through trauma. My next one's blogs about like, do you not want it? Now this is kind of like, do you not want it anymore? Now this is kind of like, do you know when you start something? So for example, I start writing and then I fucking don't finish it. I start painting and then I don't finish it. And then I kind of like wanted to go like, oh, do you not want it anymore then? Do you not want this kind of lifestyle? Do you not want to be this version of yourself? Do you not want to write? Do you not want to draw? Do you not want to paint? And I kind of just like wanted to blog about it on like the stagnant behaviour that can come from not feeling maybe good enough in that area. So do you not want it anymore? Just to maybe kind of push you to wanting it and to doing it kind of thing. My next one's about solitude and um that kind of like movement, the state or situation of being alone. It's called Where Are You? Because I think when someone kind of goes into solitude or isolation, you don't know where they are. No, you do know where they are, but I'm asking you as like a single person, where are you? Like, are you in bed? Are you at home? Are you hiding? Are you going on a walk? What are you doing? And I kind of wanted to just like express that it's okay to be alone in solitude. Just make sure that you're talking to and find someone that's been there and experienced it as well. I think I probably spent like 3 years in solitude. Fuck. Oh my God, if I was to like look at my whole life, I think I've probably spent at least 10 years of my whole entire life in solitude. I know a lot about it. My next one is navigating suicidal thoughts. So I wanted to kind of like talk about what it feels like to have suicidal thoughts, how to get through them, how to understand them. Um, I think it's really helpful to understand it, especially if you kind of like have them daily or you have to experience suicidal thoughts daily. They are not you. It is not true. Like, if I could like express so strongly that these suicidal thoughts are not you, I'm doing it. I'm doing it for you right now. They are literally your brain's way of trying to escape what you're going through. It's nothing to do with like what your determination is for the rest of your life. And also, it links in with this one. We have childhood and suicidal thinking. So, if you are a child and you've experienced suicidal thoughts, you are more than likely going to be susceptible to experiencing them when you're older too, because you've already created that kind of, as I was saying before, you've already created that pathway for yourself. So if I'm ever like traumatized or going through anything, I literally will always have suicidal thoughts because it's what I know. The next one is retrospectives. So this kind of like talks about um past situations, like looking back and kind of processing things. So, when you kind of like look back at your life and you go, oh, that happened because of this happened because of that. I kind of wanted to make sure that you had um, a healthier. I've already done that blog. Fuck. Make sure that you have like a healthier kind of processing when it's like illuminating up through your head of your past, because we all think about our past. It happens, it's just how we process, it's how we kind of like move forward. And plus, things happen in the past that kind of happen in the future, and we have to kind of like put the two and two together. Um, this one, emotions are our teachers. I didn't know I did this one because I've just been writing about this. So this, hopefully, I'm gonna have to read it later, goes through all the emotions and how they kind of like teach us things. So if you kind of get jealousy as an emotion, that should be teaching you that you need to work on something. It's like you're jealous of someone because they've got a shop. You need to work on it then and get yourself a shop. It talks about like happiness. Like if you kind of something makes you happy, you have to keep going to what makes you happy. If you feel sad or depressed, it's because you've lost something. And it just kind of go through each of the emotions to help you understand and regulate if you're feeling like a heightened emotion. Because I think like with a lot of neurological people, neurodivergent people, sorry, because everyone's neurological, um, um, it's difficult because neurodivergent people have heightened emotions. So I think if you kind of understand what it's trying to teach you, it might help you kind of fluently get through it. Um, in 2022, I wrote a blog, but I am attached to you. And I actually wrote this for my ex because I got attachment issues to him. Um, and it was really hard to not have attachment issues to somebody, especially when they were just continuously traumatizing me. But I didn't see the trauma at the time. I was just kind of like, um, just I was just so attached. I think because we'd just gone through a lot and things, but they were taking a lot of drink and drugs and obviously getting with people behind my back and stuff. So it was really hard, but I think because I was going through trauma and I trauma bonded, I was very, very attached to this person for years, longer than what I should have been. But it is what it is. I'm totally over it now, so that's the main thing. And now I'm hopefully going to make money off my trauma, make money off my past relationships and the stories behind it and things. So at least something good will have come from it. My next kind of write up is called Little Runaway, and this is about like individuals who kind of run away from things. So I'm one of them people. I was one of them people, sorry, where I kind of like used to have a situation and instead of being able to like fluctuate it through properly, I kind of like ran away often. That I would um just take myself on holiday. Like I would just kind of impulsively just think, fuck this, I'm getting out of town, and I'd run away somewhere. And there was one time as well when I was so traumatized, and I woke my best friend up at 6:30 in the morning. And I was like, I'm going. She was like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm just leaving. I can't cope with it here any longer. I'm going. She went, I'm gonna come with you. And then we drove maybe like an hour or something, and maybe 40 minutes. I can't remember where we went to, and it was lashing it down, and we just walked in the rain. Like we just walked in the rain, and it was the most beautiful feeling ever. I'll never forget it. And I really appreciate her for kind of like doing this with me as well because she didn't have to. She knew that I was traumatized. She was like, "You're not going anywhere, but I'll come with you." And she walked in front of me as well, so that I could literally just have all the rain on my face. It was so beautiful. Um, the next one is if I'm ugly, then so are you. And this is basically about like if you're judging me, then judge yourself because if you're judging someone, then that's you, isn't it? So maybe you should judge yourself. And also, if people are calling me ugly, that makes you ugly because you're ugly for calling someone ugly. So I just thought that worked in. I've got trauma from nowhere, which is a um blog about write up about trauma coming from nowhere. So you can literally just be sat there chilling and it pops up. This is mainly from like childhood feelings though, because it just kind of does. Got disassociation, which talks about like disassociation and how it feels to be not one with yourself, but how to kind of like maybe reconnect with yourself. You've got to look after yourself if you want to kind of get out of disassociation. You have to put energy into yourself. Got social media and mental health because social media and mental health is not good for a lot of individuals. That we kind of based on likes and things, but then I saw something not long ago and saying like, oh, if 10 people told you in real life that they liked your profile picture or like what you're wearing, you'd love it. But it's like apparently 10 likes and 10 hearts and stuff isn't enough. The next one is the story behind hearing voices. Um, I wanted to kind of like talk about what it feels like for individuals to hear voices because it's not nice. I think my stepdad might have heard them before he ended his life, and they can be very daunting and voices because it's a big voice inside your head that makes you feel like it's true because how the fuck did that voice get there? I don't experience voices, but I kind of understand where they come from. I also write about why psychology, kind of like why I got into psychology and stuff. And then I think that is that for my write-ups. I am going to obviously on there I've got my research part. If anyone wants to help me with some research, got my Lancashire what's in Lancashire. I've got a contact page, got a coaching page, but that is just on hold at the moment because just been sorting out like the charity and stuff, so I've been so busy. But then I've also got a shop on there where you can buy like mini pictures and stuff like that. But that is pretty much my blog, and I hope that it helps. It's helped a lot of people so far, and I do get quite a lot of good traffic from it. I'll probably put this at the very front of my blog to kind of like help you understand what's what. But thank you for listening today. And if you need anything, or watching actually, thank you for listening or watching. But if you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. I have like an email address where I am pretty good at talking. So if you need anything, please do drop me a message and I'll speak to you soon. I am just going to do the poem straight after this because I think I kind of like want to read these poems out. But yeah, I hope you have a nice day anyway. And I'll speak to you soon. Peace and love.